අනිපුතේ මහාචාර්ය වජිරා W දිසානායක මහතාණනි ඔබතුමාට
උදෑසනක් සියලු දෙනාටම මම මේ අවස්ථාවේදී අදහස් කරනවා ඉංග්‍රීසි භාෂාවෙන් ඉංග්‍රීසි වචන ස්වල්පයක් ඔබ වෙත ඉදිරිපත් කිරීමට. Secretary, Provincial Secretary of Health, Provincial Director General of Health, Director General of Public Health Services in the Ministry of Health, the Medical Officer of Health on the Kotte MOH area, Head of Department of Community Medicine, my teachers from the faculty, Professor Rohini Selvaratna and Professor Kantalanga Tilaka, and other colleagues from the Ministry of Health, Dr. Hasid Tisera and others, doctors in the Kotte MOH area, as well as our postgraduate trainees in the Faculty of Medicine, public health field staff, nurses, midwives, public health inspectors and others, journalists who are gathered here today to cover this special event, other officials of the Ministry of Health and the Provincial Ministry of Health, those representing community organizations, distinguished invitees, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure to be here this morning when we celebrate the 75th anniversary of the Department of Community Medicine of the Faculty of Medicine, starting those activities where we should be starting them, that is in the community. The community area, field health area of the faculty, the Kotte MOH area. When I was listening to the history, it dawned on me that it is not only the 75th anniversary of the Faculty of Medicine that we are, Community Medicine, Community Medicine of the Faculty of Medicine that we are celebrating, but it's also the 50th anniversary of the Kotte MOH area. So that is a significant milestone. So one could even say this is where it all began in the field. Of course, we trace ourselves back to the Kalutara, the offices that were set up in Kalutara all those years ago, almost 100 years ago. But I think establishing the MOH area in Kotte would have been a significant milestone, because that would have been the way all those years ago when the academic input would have started trickling down to the field health workforce. And if we look back at the health indices of this country, maternal mortality, infant mortality and others, the dramatic improvements that they had in those 50 years are, I think, testament to that. And this may be something which is kind of unwritten, nobody will talk about, but it gives us an opportunity to reflect on that. So there is that unquantified, contribution that academia makes to the healthcare services in the country, and all of the, the leading medical specialists who are leading these in the Ministry of Health have had that inputs from academia coming either from the department or during their undergraduate studies or through the Postgraduate Institute of Medicine during their postgraduate studies. And so I think that's a significant contribution that we have made. Now, sitting here and listening to that history, I was reflecting on the personal kind of association I have had with those giants that were mentioned here. In fact, Professor Abeyratna's grandson was my classmate, Asita, you will remember. Asita was my classmate as well. He recently came to the faculty and went to the boardroom and said, that is my grandfather, standing a picture that is there. Professor Earl de Fonseca, was not only a giant in the field of medicine in the country, but also the conductor of the Symphony Orchestra of Sri Lanka. And we used to enjoy his music when we were children. Professor Dulita Fernando was one of those teachers I personally associated with very closely as a student as well as afterwards during the time that I was a colleague with her in the faculty and when she was the dean of the faculty. Professor Rohini Senaratne still continues to baton, not only doing the community work, now beyond as emeritus professor and also as a professor at Kothalavala Defence University, but also as the chair of the research, the National Health Research Council. The other colleagues who are here today have been making a wonderful contribution to what is happening here as well as beyond. And they have spanned their wings beyond, working internationally as well. The current chair professor, Professor Upul Senarat, established this international network on nutrition. And that's been one of the foremost networks in this region. Professor Vasanta Gunatunga brought in the concept of mindfulness and well-being, and that is grown in strength, and I think in the future we will be all promoting practice of mindfulness in the community as a way of promoting health and well-being. Professor Charukhi Arumepola, my own batchmate, was instrumental in, together with Professor Chandrika Vijayaratna about 20 years ago, initiating the Nirogi Langa project, which spanned into lots of different avenues, promoting healthy lifestyle in the community. And Kotte MOH area, as was mentioned, was the one which really took that forward and eventually, I think, led to the establishment of healthy lifestyle clinics across the country. There are others as well. Dr. Kapila Jayaratna, who we got from the ministry's loss again, was leading the maternal and newborn surveillance in the country and doing enormous work. So I can go on and talk about the contribution that academia has made to the upliftment of the lives of our people, making them healthy and happy in the community through the input that we have given to countless generations of students who have passed on through the portals of our faculty. and are serving the community at large across the country. But we couldn't have done that without the field health staff, the nurses, the midwives, the public health officers, and others. All of those who are in the community, those who are helping us, so very important. The role that they play is so very important. So the faculty, through the NIHS in Kaluthara, through the Ceylon Medical College Council that is based in the Faculty of Medicine, and so on, and has contributed and helped them in their professional careers, and we were so grateful that we were able to do that as well. In a devolved healthcare system, we not only work with the Ministry of Health, but also with the Provincial Ministry of Health. The collegiality that has been extended by both those organizations is so very important to us. And I'm ever so pleased today to meet the Health Secretary of the Western Province. Thank you, sir, for your presence. You've honored us with your presence. In our brief chat that we had, we talked about how we can expand these services. Today, as the Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, what I am dwelling on is the doctors that we train are leaving this country because we are unable to retain them with the expectations that they have. It's not only the doctors, even the other categories of staff that are trained are leaving this country. So we need to give them a purpose of why they are there. They are not just mechanical people working in hospitals. There is a greater purpose out there in the community that they can serve. So that is what we should be doing, giving them that purpose, working with the provincial ministry, working with the community, so that we show them what the impact that they make in the community. The Faculty of Medicine's Community Medicine Department recently, in the past 10 years, also gave leadership to establishing a rural health research center in Katharagama. We are expanding that as well as another way of reaching the community. So we would be happy to work with the ministry, the provincial ministry, to expand these services. The medical officer, Dr. Alvis, said that she seen me for the first time. That is not because I did not value the work that you all do, but I think reflecting back, I gave more attention to Katharagama. I was a frequent visitor to Katharagama, and Professor Gopul Senarath, I think, kept it to the best day to get me to come here, the day that you are celebrating the anniversary. So going forward, we have a long way to go. Going forward, we have a long way to go to bring health and well-being to our people, because in the future, health and well-being is not something that will be determined in hospitals. If you look at the two most important health indicators that are hitting this country, the aging population and the demographic transition which is making us old, the aging population, plus the expansion of, or the widening or the burden of the non-communicable disorders, the problems of the elderly population and the problems of the non-communicable disease group cannot be solved in hospitals. That has to be solved in the community by ensuring that they remain healthy for the longest possible time. For that, the community health workers, the community field staff is so very important. So therefore, the future of medicine, the future of healthcare will be community health. And I hope that we can all go in a long journey on that, with that note. So with those words, let me congratulate the department, congratulate the Medical Officer of Health Office, and congratulate all those who have contributed to the well-being of the people of our country that is epitomized today by this very important monthly conference that we are having in Kotte. Thank you very much.